Hi, this is an overview of organizational behavior summer 2016. So in this video, I'm going to give you a quick overview of what this class is going to be like, what's expected of you, and some of the things we're going to be doing. So the first area that's important for you to review is announcements. So on announcements, this is where I post relevant information to what you should be doing, working on, things that are important. So right now in the beginning, I've set up a couple of announcements. The first one is weekly assignments, and this just to give you an idea. Each week you should be working on reading the assigned chapters, watch my lecture videos, complete the discussion board questions, and work on the Homework Manager website for quizzes and assignments. Now, the discussion boards, what I look for in the discussion boards, and I'm going to go over this in more detail in a minute, but basically the discussion boards is where we're going to sort of recreate discussions we might have had in the classroom. So topics or questions that I find students generally like to debate and talk about are going to be posted here in discussion boards. Now, for this year, I have greatly reduced the number of discussion boards that you'll be working with. In previous years, I have had about 24 different discussion board forums, and I've reduced it down to 6, so 1 per week. And this is a response for students who have become burnt out with discussion boards. And students have said to me, and I've talked to many students, in that too many classes are relying on discussion boards too heavily. So I'm taking a much lighter approach here, just posting 1 discussion board per week of the class. So there are 6 discussion boards. Each discussion board is worth 16.67 points. So all 6 of them will add up to 100 points. And I put a little chart here of how I score the discussion board questions so you have an idea of what I'm looking for. Next, I want to talk about the Homework Manager. This semester I'm using a new textbook. This new textbook has some advantages. It's much more concise. It's a quicker read. And it comes with a dedicated Homework Manager. So these are the instructions for signing into and setting up the Homework Manager. And again, I'm going to go over that in more detail when I go over the Assignments tab. This course has 2 course papers. Now, these course papers are relatively short. I'm looking for about 4 to 5 pages. They're 200 points each. One is on the CEO profile, and one is on organizational culture. And I give you a rubric of how I grade the papers if you're curious about what I'm looking for and how I'm going to grade your papers. And then the last part of announcements, I have course overview. And here I lay out for each week of the course what chapters you should be reading, which videos you should be watching, and a reminder to complete the discussion board and Homework Manager. So I laid out the class in 6 organized weeks, showing you what chapters we're going to be covering each week. And the video links, these are web links that will link you to YouTube. So I'm hosting all of the web videos on YouTube, so you just cut and paste this link into a new browser window, and you'll be able to see the videos for the class, which you can also subscribe to the YouTube playlist to get all the videos for the course. Okay, so that's the announcements. That's why announcements is important to look over, read over, because I try to condense the most important information in announcements. So let's look at the rest of this Blackboard site. So yeah, so we have announcements, so I just went over, and I'll be posting things there periodically, reminders, updates on assignments, or different things that are critical. So let's go to the documents. So in the documents, there's really 2 documents. One is PowerPoint. So this is where I host all the PowerPoints for the course that we'll be working with for each of the chapters. And that's important because you may want to refer back to them on certain assignments, and these are the PowerPoints I use in my video lectures. Also in documents, I have syllabus. And in the syllabus here, this is where I lay out the textbook we'll be using. So we're using the Essentials of Organizational Behavior, which you can get with the My Pearson Lab. as an e-textbook. The bookstore will have the physical textbook with an access card, and you can also order this online. So I think when you sign up to the Homework Manager, they give you a pretty reasonable offer to buy the e-text as well. But here's the ISBN, and there is an offer to buy it online version. I think that if you sign up to the Homework Manager, the e-text offer is probably the most cheapest option. Okay, and this book was specifically picked to be a good book for an online course. The previous book I was using was far too lengthy for what we're trying to accomplish in a 6-week period. So with this textbook, the chapters are more condensed, and I can cover more chapters and give you a more complete overview of organizational behavior. So I like this book. I like the way it's written. It's very straightforward. It's very common sense. I think you'll enjoy it. Now, this class is asynchronous, which means that we're not going to meet in some kind of chat room at the same time. Everything is sort of at your own pace. There are due dates you have to meet, but otherwise you can work at any time during the day that you want to work. So the objectives of this course, we're looking to really get the understanding of organizational behavior. Different types of organizations, how they're organized, their dynamics, how individuals interact with culture inside of organization, and basically how companies work on a human level to get things done. And, how individuals come together to make a company culture, different things about individual behaviors as far as perception, motivation, leadership, decision-making, teamwork, and looking at these through an organizational context of organizational culture, design. So the goals really and the learning objectives of this course are to help you understand what organizational behavior is, the major issues, and how to effectively manage yourself and others at work. Look at relevant information in this field, better prepare you for work after graduation. I want to engage you more actively through class discussions about class papers and things of that nature. Talk about common terminology in certain business jargon as related to organizational behavior topics and such. So we're going to accomplish this through covering the chapters in the book, having quizzes, having different multiple different assignments and papers, Okay. So how the grading of the course lays out is the organizational culture paper is 200 points. The CEO profile paper is 200 points. The discussion board questions are a total of 100 points. The quizzes hosted by the Homework Manager are 1,100 points. And the Homework Manager homework assignments are 400 points to make it a total of 2,000 points. So one way to get your grade is if you take the total of points that you've accumulated and you divide by 20, you'll sort of get a percentile scale. And this is how the percentile scale goes to the letter grade. All right. Okay, so that is the syllabus. I didn't go over the syllabus completely. You should go back and really review that. So under documents, we have the syllabus and the PowerPoint. Let's look at the assignments. So here I want to talk about the assignments a little bit more in depth. So here one assignment is discussion boards. So to complete discussion boards, you click on the menu tab Discussions, and you'll see here, just submit that. Okay, so you'll see here that we have questions about the course. So the first thread would be if you have questions about the course. So in this thread, students might ask when the quiz dates, where are the quiz due dates? So there might be a question from a student, topics for the paper, where do I list what company, what CL I'll be working on. So these are just common questions that you want to ask me or other students that you feel would benefit everybody. Please, you shouldn't ask anything of a personal nature here. This is just really general class questions that you may have about the course. Now, the first discussion question here is discussion question week 1. So I'm going to edit this. I usually like to write click here because it's not so obvious where to click to get into this. So the first two discussion boards I want to add a little note that you should click here on the title to get into it. So I've noticed students have that question a lot. Okay, so for week 1, this is the actual question here. So, and I write, I expect every student to post 1 original response to the question and 3 replies. Each post should be between 100 to 200 words. Please rate other students' posts, and I'll show you how that works in a second. So I want you to read this research report, and then I'm going to ask you questions about, do you think the study is on track? From your experiences, do women lead differently than men? What did you find interesting about the paper? Do you agree with most? What do you disagree with? And I'd like you to make your original posts on Monday and Tuesday. So that's sort of answering these questions on Monday and Tuesday, and then your replies Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. What I don't want is someone to try to do everything on Friday night at 10 p.m. An hour before it's due. All right. And this is going to be open. I have specific periods where they're open till. This is only open till July 15th. And after July 15th, this forum closes, and you can no longer post to it, and then I grade it. Okay, so for you would log in, you would click on discussion question 1, and you would click on create thread, and then you could put your name. So just keep it. Put your name, and maybe you can even put a topic here. You just say response or discussion question 1 could be your topic as well. Whatever you please, and then you just put your response in here. So you can easily. I'm just gonna organize this by question. So you would type in your response. So you can make a response like that, and then you go down or up here and you click on submit, and you'll see now there'll be a thread. So another student, so say you're coming in here, if you want to create your original post, you click on create thread to create your original response. But if you see another student's post, you can click on that, and then you can rate. There's overall ratings from 1 to 5 stars. I can't rate my own post. And I would like, this is sort of a student peer feedback. So when you see someone's post that's poor, like this is a very poor post I made, you should rate it accordingly. And then you could reply, or I may reply, and I say, hi John, this post is not good, too short, lose points, okay, so I could say something like this. Hi John, this post is not good, too short, you're going to lose points. Please make sure your posts are longer and have a more descriptive response. Thanks, Professor Nugent. So I could submit my. So now I just replied to the post. So when you come into here and you want to look at your post, you could see your original post and then people who replied, and then you could rate. You can rate the replies as well as the original post, and the more you rate, the better you have of giving feedback to other students. So here, it's anonymous, and be honest. If you feel like a post really isn't that great, rate it 1 star. sort of like Yelp. And what you want to do is encourage the students who are doing well to make better posts. And you're also helping me, so when I could see the overall star ratings, get an idea of what the class thought, which is a good counterbalance to what I think. And if, so that's why. And, it is completely anonymous, so be as honest as possible. No one's going to see who you rated or, what you rated somebody, so no one can, get mad at you for rating a post. And that's basically it for discussion board. So discussion board 1, I have, like I said, only 6 discussion board questions set up, and they're meant to be provocative, thought-producing, something that would be fun to talk about and engage in with your classmates, get to know your other classmates, and develop a rapport. And I'll be participating in here as well. So I wanted to make the discussion boards more fun, more thought-provoking, and a lot of a smaller scope than I had before. Like I said previously, other semesters of class, I had what I now see as too many discussion boards and too much for people to focus on. So I figure about 1 discussion board a week is what students said, and what I agree with would be a good way of working these discussion boards. So, and again, after every week, I'll look through them to see, I get a report from Blackboard that shows me, did you make your original response, and how many replies did you make? And I'll be going through, reading all the posts, and adding my 2 cents here and there as well. So it should be a more fun and engaging, active learning environment. So that is the discussion boards, and that's worth 100 points. Okay, so the next assignment is the homework manager. So in the homework manager, this is the brief instructions of how to sign up for the homework manager, and this is our course ID, Nugent 27742. So when you log into the homework manager, it's going to look something like this. And you want to go to assignments. So actually, if I go back, here's where the e-text is. So you can click in here, and then you can purchase the e-text through the homework manager. And I already have it. And you can even demo the e-text to see if you like it first, because you may prefer the physical book. It's up to you. Okay, so when you go into assignments, I've listed all the assignments by due date. So you see the due dates, and basically I'm making all the assignments for each week due on the same day. So for week 1, all the assignments are due on the 17th, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 assignments. And then for week 2, all the assignments are due on the 24th, and then week 3 is the July 31st. So in order to make it simpler, I didn't want to have different due dates on different days during the week. I'm putting them just all on one particular day, and for the majority of the class, those are going to fall on Sundays, except for the last week. Well, last week the due dates would fall on, let's see, for the very last week of the course, the due dates fall on, let's see, August 19th, which is a Friday, because the class ends on a Friday. But most weeks things will be due on Sunday. And a lot of these assignments are fun. Like for this first one, you click on it, and you're going to be answering questions that are related to watching a video. So this is actually the questions. But there is right here. Let me go back. Watch a video. I think this is because I'm in the, oh, here it is. Oh, here's the video. It's right here. It's right here linked on the question. So here's the video. You click on this, and it will give you like a video to watch about a topic or a subject, sort of. These can vary here, and we're going to have an interesting video about Herman Miller. So let me close this. And then after you watch the video, you'll be answering some questions about the video. And the video is, so I'd answer question. Oh, I got it wrong. So I could try again. So with the homework, I generally let you try multiple times on some of the homeworks to, you get a couple tries, and then after, not unlimited tries, you get a couple tries, but then if you get it wrong, you have to move on. You can move on to the next question, and pretty simple stuff. Let me leave this. Okay. so okay, so that's the first video. There's another video assignment here on leadership, and then here's a little simulation on leadership. So it's a little tiny simulation, very small, and you basically, this is read aloud to you, or you can read it. You go to next and next, so it kind of puts you through this scenario. Let's see. Okay, then you get to a certain point where you can make sort of your own path and select an option you want to choose, and then get some feedback on that, and then another option. So a quick little fun simulation assignment that you're going to run through, and then let's see. Try. Okay, so it's another little simulation. So these are just from chapter 12, and then there'll be a quiz. So at the end of these multiple assignments, there'll be a quiz, and the quiz is worth a lot of points. So you don't want to miss any quiz. This one has 25 questions. So when you're ready to start, and you have one try, you don't get multiple attempts on getting it right on the quiz. So you answer the questions, and it's not going to tell you whether you got it right or wrong until the end of the quiz. So quizzes are typically 25 questions that are related to the chapter reading, my lecture, and some of the previous homework assignments related to the chapter. Okay, so I'm just going to leave this. So that would be chapter 12, and then you go into the next chapter, which is chapter 16, but that's in the following week. And there's also, on occasion, there are these personal inventory assignments, which you would go in and it would ask you, give you a little introduction, and then it's sort of like a little leadership quiz that you would take, and it's like kind of like a survey, and you get the points for completing. Completing it, whether I'm just clicking here. And it's going to give you an idea it's going to assess your leadership style, abilities. I'm not sure. Let's get to the end of it. Okay, next. Okay, so here it's going to, based on the results, it's going to give me a range of how ethical my leadership, so low ethical leadership, normal ethical, high ethical. So ethical leadership. So it's a little survey that's going to give you a response on how you answer the questions, would sort of score you and give you some feedback based on this survey. And you just really get the points for completing it. So it's fun. So this is a very dynamic, active learning environment where you're doing little simulations, little surveys, aptitude and analysis. Sometimes there could be a written exercise in here. So it changes up. There's a lot of variety in the assignments here. And then, of course, at the end of multiple assignments, we have all the chapters listed in here. So everything is listed here in date. And then as you complete your work here, your points get put into a grade book. So your grade book will appear in here as well. If you go to the main menu, you'll have... there'll be a tab where you can view your gradebook to see. You'll see a gradebook tab to see how you're doing overall in this work. So this is something that you chip away with. There's a lot of assignments in here. Most of them are pretty short, but I think you'll find it very dynamic and interesting and overall fun. Okay, so that's the homework manager. So, and a lot of points are tied up with the homework manager because you have about 1,500 points in this homework manager. So it's a critical piece of the course, and it houses all the quizzes for the class. Okay, now let's move on. There are 2 papers for the class, and these papers I'm only looking for these papers to be, they're kind of small papers, 1,200 to 1,500 words, which is like 4 to 5 pages, double-spaced. So it's not particularly huge papers. But I'm here where I'm asking you is in the first paper, and this is one of the reasons I'm covering chapters 16 and 17 in the beginning of the class, because one deals sort of on leadership and the other one deals on culture, because I want to give you get you prepared for this before you write the papers. And the first paper is kind of fun. You find a CEO, a leader or president of a company, and you're going to write a profile on them. You're going to give me their background, their leadership style, philosophy, their values, their strengths, weaknesses, what they've contributed to their companies and what you can learn from them. So it's really just a breakdown or analysis of a popular leader of a large company. And then the second paper is on company culture. So this paper, we're looking at, resize this. Okay. So for this culture paper, and again, they're both worth 200 points. And here I'm looking for you to pick a company and talk about the company's culture. What is the company about? What is their culture? What causes the organization to have this culture? What's the effect of this culture on its employees, on society? What suggestions you have for changing this company's culture. So here you get a chance to find a company you're interested in and do some research and think about and describe what culture they have or exists. And again, this is another 4 to 5 page mini paper report that you can complete. The first one is due on July 29th and the second one is due on August 19th. And if you look in the syllabus, or actually I think I have it on under announcements. If you look under announcements, that's where I have the rubrics of how I'm grading the paper. Okay, so those are your big assignment areas. Each week you can be posting responses and replies to discussion board question, completing the week's homework management, homeworks and quizzes, and working on these 2 papers during the course. Okay, and that's pretty much how the course is laid out. I try to make it very organized, very simple and flow, and making the due dates very organized, and especially in the homework manager. I have all the assignments are listed in due date order, so you can kind of just work off this list until you get to the bottom of it, and you could work ahead of time. So if you want to start now, I'm going to have this course open all summer, so you're free to sign up and start working in the homework manager whenever you like. If you want to start early, that's more than fine with me. And that's basically it. So I try to make a course here that is going to be interesting, interactive, experiential, so you'll have time in discussion boards to converse and meet with other students and talk to them. You'll have a lot of in-depth and type of homework assignments that will probe your leadership style, your work style, your organizational, your company's organizational culture, and a couple of written reports to give me a better idea of how you are assimilating the information in this course and being able to put it in a real-world construct of what's happening at a current company you might be interested in. So I think you'll find this course very enjoyable. It's going to flow very nicely, and you just have to make sure that you, on a weekly basis, you keep up with the work, because there are going to be, I'm not going to accept any late assignments in this course. So make sure that if you're a person that typically has issues that cause you to hand in late assignments, these people could be people who have very busy work schedules, very busy family schedules or vacation schedules, or just tend to have random emergencies occur to them. Make sure you do your assignments a couple of days or a couple of weeks early, so that way if something does happen, you'll have time to make up the assignment. Because once that due date hits and the assignments will all disappear, the discussion boards will disappear, the homework manager assignments will disappear after the due date, I'm not going to reopen them for any late assignments. So make sure that you just remember that. Okay, so this is my half-an-hour introduction getting started to this course, and I hope you enjoy it, and I'm looking forward to working with you over the summer. Take care.